What's up, guys? So I have just some thoughts, a debrief from this week. We've had a crazy week. It has been wild. You guys have heard what's been going on. Saw Oxygen Wednesday night was incredible. God just really did some crazy stuff. And, I'm just trying to process. Okay, God has clearly put us in the middle of a spiritual battle. We're clearly somewhere where we didn't ask to go, or we didn't think we were going to go, and God just said, boom, here you are. We didn't look for anything that happened. We haven't been searching for it. We've been searching for life change. We haven't been searching for the spiritual battle that God has chosen to put us in the middle of. And so what do? What does this mean for us as the leadership team, as you, the adult leaders? What do we do? How do we respond to what God is doing? 1 John 4, I believe, gives us a huge insight into step number 1. This whole chapter, I encourage you to read it. I'm going to take a few blurbs out, but it'd be awesome if you guys could grab that, stop and read 1 John 4 and really just kind of dissect what he's saying here. He's basically given us an encouragement. He says, look, test the spirits, figure out what's from God and what's from the enemy. It's important that you know this. And then when you've identified it, verse 4 says, you, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one in the world. You know, I think for some that were there Monday night, I think maybe we're a little nervous or scared or intimidated potentially. Maybe walked away faith-built because you saw into the spiritual realm. Whatever it was, no matter what we're up against, greater is he who's in us than he who's in the world. There's not a single demonic stronghold, story, situation, family environment. There's nothing that's greater than what God can do in their life. We've just got to figure out how and what our part is in that. In that redemption. See, he goes on and he says, God is love. In verse 8. And then verse 12, he says, but if we love one another, then God lives in us and his love is made complete in us. If we love one another, if we choose the LP, if we love people, then his love is made complete in us. What is he saying? He's saying, look, when you love people, you're proving that I've captured your heart. I've taken control of your spirit and your mind. You've surrendered to me. You've proven your surrender to me by the sacrificial love that you give to other people. The way that we pour our lives out for these students prove that God has grabbed our heart, captured our attention, and beginning to direct our motives. And he goes on in verse 15, he says, if anyone acknowledges that Jesus is the Son of God, then God lives in him, and he in God. And we have all acknowledged that. We all acknowledge that Jesus is the Son of God, and therefore God is in us. And the powerful thing is that if God is love, then we also have love implanted inside of who we are. We've simply got to express that and let that out to these students. Consistent love, sacrificial love that never gives up, that will overwhelm their condition. That will overwhelm their situation. That will overwhelm every demon, every stronghold, every mindset, every perspective. That will, in time, absolutely always win. Darkness cannot resist love very long. So cool. He says it again. God is love. In verse 16. In first part of verse 16 actually, it says, and so we know and rely on the love God has for us. See, we're not relying on you. You're not relying on your abilities, your understanding, or your knowledge. You're relying on God's love. You're relying on the fact that God is love and God is in you, therefore love is in you, and that's what we rely on right now. We're not relying on us, because if we do, we will fail. We've got to learn to rely on God's love right now, period. Verse 18, mind-blowing stuff right here. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. We want so badly to see these kids changed. We need to understand that his perfect love moving through us will drive every demon away. His perfect love drives out fear. He will literally exorcise darkness out of their life, change perspectives, and renew their mind through his perfect love if we allow it to be at play in our life. Well, what does it take? Verse 19. We love because he first loved us. But if anyone says, I love God, yet hates his brother, then he's a liar. For anyone who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. And he has given us this command, whoever loves God must also love his brother. So what do? We're in the middle of a spiritual battle. We're waking up to something more. We've seen very clearly, very personally, very close to home with some people that we love very deeply, that our battle is not against flesh and blood, and the battle's real, and the battle has been brought to our soil. It's come to our ground. We're not fighting a foreign battle. We're fighting a war in our backyard, or in my living room. At Oxygen on Wednesday night in that room. It's on our ground. This is in our homeland. So what do? Number one, get rid of your junk. We've all got to do self-evaluation on a daily basis to process if we're hating people. Do you have anger, bitterness, or unforgiveness towards anybody? If you do, you got to clean it out. If you need help, you need to talk to us. We'll talk you through it, work with you through it, pray with you through it. You got to clean out the unforgiveness. In Matthew, Jesus says that if you don't forgive others, I can't forgive you. We've got to let go of offenses towards people on a daily basis, because what we're doing when we hold that, we're creating a spiritual barrier and preventing ourselves individually and the group as a whole from going to the next level. You're the leaders of this group. You are the adult leaders. You're the core. You are the deepest part. You're the people deepest in their life. You're the most crucial to these students. And if you are harboring unforgiveness, bitterness, or anger towards anybody, even yourself or God, you will prevent your group and the people in your influence from going to the next level, and you'll prevent yourself. I want to strongly encourage everybody to get this book, The Bait of Satan by John Bevere. Pick it up and read it. The entire concept of the book is living free from the deadly trap of offense, where he says, look, you don't understand, when you have unforgiveness or offense and you take offense easy, you're opening wide open doors for the enemy to come in. You're baiting him. It is like blood in shark-infested water. His demons just come running. If we want freedom in this youth group, it's going to start with us letting go of offense, not hating a single person. It's not just about loving these kids. It's about not hating our dads when they hurt us. It's about letting go of the pain of our past and the people that have damaged us. Maybe the pain of your current today, somebody's done something, you got to let it go. Not just for yourself, but for God, number one, for these students. It's got to happen. Number two, we've got to love sacrificially. We've got to love the way Christ loved. If God is love, we need to love the way God loved. And God loved with a sacrificial love that he gave up everything. And I know we're tired and we're pushing and we're giving everything and we're taking everything that they're throwing at us and we're going and we're going and we're going. And you know what? We need to dig down deeper. We need to go some more, because the battle's not done. We've just begun the most intense part of the battle. So you got to clean your own junk out. Let go of offense. Let go of forgiveness. Do whatever you got to do to get healing. And we got to love sacrificially the way he loved. We got to show them what love looks like. Because that when we show them, that perfect love will drive out the fear.